Hello there everyone, and welcome to day 13 of the MBD Month of Mindset Challenge. So today we're talking about forgiveness. Now, forgiveness might seem like it's something that is for other people. You might think that, okay, when I'm forgiving somebody, then I'm forgiving them and that is them that is receiving the benefit of it. But you know what? Forgiveness is one of those things that can actually impact you just as much, if not even more, than it does the person that you're forgiving. And there's a great quote that goes with this, which is holding on to a grudge is like keeping poison in your mouth that is intended for somebody else. The thing is, when we're angry at somebody else, when we're holding a grudge to someone else, when we're holding on to any sort of ill feelings towards somebody else, you may even have that situation where, you know, when that person comes into the room, it changes your mood, because ultimately we want to show that mood to the person. It's not just that that person being in the room affects that mood. It's more we want them to see it. Now, chances are, if that person has upset you in the first place, especially if they've done it deliberately, that person is not going to really have the impact that you want then on that person by showing them how bothered you are. When we do show a person how bothered we are by their actions, the aim of that is to be an outward display of how much their actions have affected us, in the hope that that person is going to see that effect and then actually change their ways, you know, apologize or do things differently. And that can happen in some situations, and if it does, that mechanism is doing its job, it's working. But the vast majority of the time, that mechanism isn't working, it's not doing its job. What happens is you feel terrible internally, you outwardly show that. It affects the person, it doesn't affect the person, we don't know. But ultimately, who it is definitely affecting is you. And holding on to that grudge is painful to you, is uncomfortable to you. The poison that is intended for that person to hurt them, those feelings that are intended to make them feel remorseful about the things that they've done, they're not hurting that person, they're only hurting you. And that poison, even though you're holding it in your mouth, it's slowly seeping into you. So it may be a case that it starts affecting you more and more and more over time. So the trick with this, well, it's to forgive. And it's to forgive that person. It's not down to whether what they've done is objectively forgivable. It's down to whether even that person has asked for forgiveness. Sometimes that person might not even be in your life anymore. Whether that is the person doesn't talk to you anymore or the person has passed on. It could be a situation where that apology is never going to come. So do you really want to be sat with that poison forever, waiting for an apology that may never come or may never even be able to come? No, we don't want to do that. So who are we going to forgive them for? Well, we're going to forgive them for you. We're going to forgive them because you deserve to be released of that poison. You deserve to not have to carry around ill feelings because of a way that you've been wronged in the past. And you know what? As an extra bonus point on today's one today, you know, sometimes the person we do need to forgive is ourselves. Sometimes the person that we need forgiveness from the most is ourselves. And sometimes it's the things in our past that we've done. If we could jump back in time and change them, yeah, maybe we would, but we can't. But we can choose to not continue to punish ourselves for them in the present. Because when we punish ourselves for those things in the present, we feel those sort of negative emotions again. We feel those bad emotions, those toxic emotions that ultimately are intended to stop us from behaving in that way again, but ultimately just make us feel terrible. And when we feel terrible, we're more likely to do things that are terrible. So forgiveness, forgiving others for yourself, for your own good, and forgiving yourself for your own good too. I'll see you guys tomorrow.